Well, hello everybody. I hope you're all having a great day. I'm here at Salters Beach today in my hometown, and it's really incredibly peaceful. There's like nobody in sight, just my kind of thing. There's just like a marina back there. It's a really old, dilapidated one. So it's just kind of a quiet presence here, and there's a bunch of waves coming in right now. Bit of a cloudy day, but I like that too. I like those just like the sunny days. And I was just really thinking about the nature of being a thought leader. So, standing here on this beach by myself, it's kind of just making me think about being alone, right? And when you're a leader, I feel like it's important to put your opinions out there and to be a thought leader, because people want to know what you think and feel, and not just know that you can manage things well. They want to know that you have ideas and you have a vision and you have certain opinions on topics and whatnot. So I believe as a leader, you should really consider becoming a thought leader. But it's a little bit intimidating, I'll be honest, and it can be a little bit lonely. You'll see behind me, there's just a big empty rock just standing there, and I was thinking, man, that rock is just sitting there all by itself. There's nothing around it. And I was like, that's kind of what it's like being a thought leader. It feels like being a little bit lonely, because it means putting your ideas out there and not knowing what other people are going to think, because you're sort of putting a stake in the ground and you're saying, like, this is what I stand on, this is what I believe. And you're not going to win everybody over. There are going to be people that disagree with you. Whether they say it or not, they're going to think it. And I think as a leader, especially as a thought leader, your goal cannot be to make everybody happy, to be a people pleaser, because the very nature of you having opinions and putting them out there, you're speaking some thoughts that some people have but not everyone does, and so they might disagree with you. You're also putting new ideas out there that people haven't thought about before, and sometimes it takes time for ideas to simmer and for people to sort of come on board with your ideas. And so the first time they might hear it, they might be a little bit intimidated or challenged by what you have to say, and then they kind of need to hear the message a few more times or in different ways, or they need to see how it plays out in their own life experiences. And so I would just encourage you, if you are working at being a thought leader, to not give up and to not seek the validation as encouragement for you to keep going. If you put your ideas out there and you find that, people didn't really respond to it, they didn't say anything, they didn't like it, they didn't comment, they didn't share it, does that mean that what you said wasn't valuable? No, actually, you're giving people things to think about, to be challenged by. And I also think as a leader, as I said earlier, you really can't aim to be a people pleaser, because you need to stand in your truth. You need to bring visibility to different topics that are important. And again, not everybody is going to agree on these things, but you have to say, I know myself, this is what I believe in, and it's an opinion that I'm just going to put out there for the world to consider. And, we're human beings that evolve and we grow, and we can change our minds about things as we get more information. But at least we have the courage to put our ideas out there and see what people might think. There might be a lot of people that agree with you, but they just really aren't letting you know. There might be a lot of people who actually are reading your material or watching your videos, and they're just not letting you know that. But, I say all of this from a person who's trying to be a reformed people pleaser, because I feel like my whole life I've tried to make everybody else happy by not saying what I believed. And as I get older, I have that feeling less inside, because there's a growing desire in me to actually make a big difference in the world, and that requires having courage to get out there and put my ideas out there. again, their ideas, their opinions, their beliefs. A lot of times this is based on values, my core principles and my faith. And so again, not everybody will agree, but I think it's important to think about what you stand for and to communicate it, and not to hide in the shadows, okay? Because being invisible doesn't help anybody. There's a lot of like leadership advice out there that's very neutral. It's like very cookie cutter, right? Because they're not wanting to like ruffle any feathers, you know, just like here's something that everybody can agree with. But the problem is it's very neutral, right? It doesn't challenge you. It doesn't push you to grow and become your best self. And so I think as a leader, it's really important to give voice to your opinions, to put your ideas out there, whether it's through writing or videos or speeches or books, whatever it might be, virtual meetings, being a guest speaker, because, you have a perspective that is needed and valued in the world, and you need to voice that. And that's what I really encourage when I work with executives, and I'm trying to model that myself. I will say it does take a lot of courage. It's a little bit frightening, but I think it's kind of time that we drop the mask, really. I think it is. And we can disagree with people and respectfully challenge each other, and we don't have to shut each other down, but there is space and room for different opinions out there. And as a leader, I really think that you're just not going to be your best self as a leader if you're just going to be neutral, and if you're going to stay quiet just to make everybody else happy. So you've got to stand in your truth. You've got to learn how to communicate that, and be okay if not everyone agrees with you, or if not everybody gives you the validation that you're seeking. It's really worth it, and you can do it.